can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet. Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers.
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
Well, how are we doing out there tonight? All across this great land of ours, the United States of America, and around the world, it's time for the Conservative Syndicate here, globally syndicated, nationally acclaimed, one-of-a-kind talk radio, real conservative talk from real conservatives, and we are glad that you're with us tonight, and I do not know where we're going to end up tonight. And I'm in a state of not shock and awe, but just a cross between happy and sad. I don't know, it's almost bittersweet in some ways, because after the Indiana primary last night, we have a much clearer direction as to what's going to be going on, at least in terms of the election itself. What direction our candidate is going to go, that's another question that still remains unanswered for the most part. And there's some other aspects on the other side. Bernie Sanders won in Indiana last night, which kind of keeps that question mark out there, the big question mark out there, as to whether Hillary is just going to walk away with this thing without much more of a fight. I don't know. And then we have the FBI indictment, possible recommendation for indictment hanging over the horizon here. So there's a lot still going on the left, but at least on our side now, we know who everybody is at least assumed or at least resigned themselves to believing is going to be the presumptive nominee for the GOP party nomination in November. So we're going to talk a lot about that tonight. In fact, we'll probably spend most of the show talking about that because there's a lot of different opinions. We've got Audrey Russo coming on in the second hour. She wants to talk about it. And of course, my partner in crime, Joe Hakos, my co-host. How are you doing tonight, Joe?
I'm good, John. I'm glad we could finally the election season has started today.
Yep.
The general election campaign is now.
Yeah, and if any indication of what's going on in this primary process, one of the most bizarre, that's a word that keeps coming to my mind, in my lifetime, perhaps one of the most bizarre election cycles that I've ever been witness to. And if the general election is even half of what we've seen over the past year, the excitement is just starting. We'll use that phrase, the excitement, because maybe we'll just see how high the excrement gets piled, that kind of thing. I'm not real sure where this is going to go from this point on, only that I know it's going to go more and more into the gutter.
I'm thinking it's more like a demolition derby coming up here. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, that's a good analogy. It's just these people are just going to beat the living heck out of each other until the one that hasn't busted the radiator and the engine's still running when it's over, it will probably be the one pulling up into the driveway of the White House come January 2017. So just a very interesting evening. I was shocked. I really was kind of shocked that Cruz pulled out. I thought, especially, we've got to come to this understanding that when politicians say, "I'm in it for the long haul," that's not what they really mean. Or when they say, "I'm in this to win," that necessarily isn't what they really mean either. I'm not really sure. Sometimes we do get caught up in the fervor to the point, I really thought Cruz would go the distance. I really did. I thought, if nothing else, for principle.
Well, I told you last night that before we found out that he did it, that if he didn't win, he was going to look for some way to gracefully exit.
Yeah, this should be what one of the things we need to gauge this by. now we have to really start watching the media. The media created Donald Trump, and
they admitted to it today.
Yeah, and they have to start worrying about damage control for Hillary Clinton, and it's going to be kind of interesting. But here's the thing. Here's my opening thought on this.
Okay.
The idea that Cruz gracefully bowed out. You know, he has been talking about, you know, the unifying the party, and so much so that he's actually embraced some of the establishment icons who have endorsed him and brought one of them, Neil Bush, onto his finance team, and you know, was trying to build some kind of a coalition, some kind of unification behind it. Even though it was motivated by the No Trump movement, he was still trying to do something. And in the spirit of everything he's been doing, he gracefully bowed out and said, okay, he hasn't come out and endorsed Trump, but he gracefully bowed out in such a manner that you knew it's like, okay, he knows to continue to do this, we just continue to fracture the party. And so, okay, I'm going to just kind of walk away from it. I'm assuming that was his thought process. I don't think he's somebody who's just going to go in a corner and cry, you know, just like I don't want to play anymore and I'm just going to go cry. So, but yet, you know, the media and the establishment, especially the establishment, which got him or convinced him to, you know, join on with him and we'll take Trump down together. The same establishment is now ostracizing him because he wouldn't go the distance. And so I'm not real sure how that's going to play out in the long run, you know, because I was reading some of the stuff I was scanning over today. People in the establishment are pissed that he dropped out. It's kind of like they really expected him. Maybe they had come to this place where they thought, like John Kasich, this is still going to a contested convention. Kasich dropped out, but in his remarks he said this is going to a contested convention. So, you know, they've suspended their campaign. I don't know if Cruz dropped out, but Kasich suspended, and we got to remember when somebody suspends their campaign, that doesn't mean they're gone.
Yeah, that's the same thing that Cruz did, but no, they're done. Okay, this is just more BS. You know, all that that's just straight up conjecture. And Kasich, look, he's a butt wipe for even thinking and waiting this long to do this. He needed to do this a month and a half ago.
Yeah. So, you know, the thing in my thought process, that's absolutely right. And you know, as these things are rolling over my head, and I'm thinking, I thought it was kind of odd for Kasich to drop out right after Cruz, and I thought maybe, you know, I keep coming back to the establishment. Did the establishment were they playing two ends against the middle here? Were they keeping, you know, encouraging Kasich to stay in to deny both Cruz and Trump enough delegates, or and then convincing Cruz you need to stay in so that you can deny Trump the delegates? You know, were they doing this? Were they playing both ends against the middle? And now that both of their candidates have just kind of, you know, it is what it is. I'm kind of wondering, and I expect Ted Cruz to take some major heat from this, from the establishment, probably much more than anybody else, because he was their ace in the hole. He was the guy that was going to, you know, come into the convention and take this thing on the second or third ballot, or however many ballots they expected it to come down to. And now he's pretty much taken himself out of that. Yeah,
well, you know, Trump's going to get the delegate count that he needs. I mean, the handwriting was on the wall. Once he lost Indiana, there was, you know, look, he was going to run out of money. Donors were going to stop coming to him. The big whale donors were not going to give him any more money. They weren't going to spend money on a sinking ship, so to speak. So he saw what was happening. So he needed to stop the campaign. Yeah. He had people out there working for him. In these states, or 7 states or so, that's all that's left. He didn't need to have them everywhere because it was never going to be a national campaign. He saw what was going on, and he did the right thing by dropping out.
Yeah. I do. I agree. He did the right thing, and it's probably the best. I guess the best demonstration or the best example I've seen of karma lately is that he came in running as an anti-establishment candidate. He ends up joining the establishment, at least to some degree, to try to stop Trump. And now the establishment that he joined is chomping at the bits that he quit.
Yeah, well, you can tell them where to stick that anyway, so that ain't no big deal. But the same establishment who hates Trump is I think going to be courting Trump.
Yeah, well, unless we have it now, now what we can look at. This is what we can obviously look at. You've got the Senate, who I've always maintained is not really the establishment. They are the pawns of the establishment, and the establishment's in the background. Does the establishment want to have to deal with a Hillary? But the Senate, I know the Senate in particular, does want Hillary.
Yeah.
They would rather have Hillary. So now do we have infighting going on between the Senate majority that wants Hillary because they don't want to deal with Trump, or the establishment that says, well, if Hillary gets in there, we stand a chance of losing a lot more money than if we have Trump in there. So I'm wondering how this is going to play out, and probably most of this will go on behind the scenes. But with the way the season is and the way this election cycle has been, anything is possible, and things begin to leak out. And who knows, by the end of July, by the time they hit the convention, what kind of mess we're going to see. Anyway, we got to go to our first break. When we come back, we'll get into today's discussion. It'll be pretty much today all about the primary that took place yesterday and what we're going to see, what we could see down the road here. And again, Audrey Russo from Real Talk Radio will be with us in the second hour. So stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right. General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
At the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, and we're glad you took the time to join us this afternoon and every afternoon, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 out here in the West Coast, 6 to 8 out on the East Coast. And I don't know, I'm battling acid reflux today, so if my voice sounds kind of weird, there's a reason for it. I ate lasagna last night.
I thought it had something to do with the primary.
No, I ate lasagna last night. Italian sausage lasagna. And so a little bit spicy, but I'm paying dearly for it today. This idea of, I don't want to say this. I want to say this, but I don't want to say this for the wrong reasons, okay? I turned 62 years old tomorrow, all right? So I am going to be eligible now for Social Security, which makes me feel really, really, really old. But what makes me feel really, really older is the fact that I can't eat the stuff that I used to eat, and I can't do the things I used to do. I went out and mowed the lawn this past weekend, and boy, it took me 3 to 4 hours before I could even move from the couch. I'm like, wow, this getting old sucks. I don't care what anybody says. Getting old sucks. There's no such thing as aging gracefully. If you're aging gracefully, you're probably on some kind of medication. So it just is something else. But this lasagna just hit this morning when I woke up. Boy, I was like, all day long today, this acid reflux thing. Anyway, and I'm out of Tums too. So boy, there it is. Anyhow. Let me start the conversation today with just a very short commentary here, about 2 paragraphs worth, a response that I gave out on Facebook. I read this to Joe earlier, but I wanted to share it with you guys to kind of give you my sense of mood, where I'm at here right now. I often get on my own case as to how much I've let cynicism get the better part of me during not only this election cycle, but sometimes, in the 9 years that I've been on the radio, there are days where I just come on and all I want to do is just be this bitter, resentful, angry white man. And I have to battle that, as I'm sure most people do, if you have any sense of reasoning and compassion for what's going on in the world at all. But there are just days where you just see stuff going on and you're going, what the hell? Let's just burn it all down, that kind of thing. But we're at that point where we kind of have to resign ourselves with hope, in hope that if Donald Trump should pull this off and become our president, that he'll do at least half of what he says he'll do. He'll do something that will help get this country going back in the right direction. Now, I don't know what half he'll do or how he'll do it, because one of the things that Joe and I understand very well is that this guy's still a hard read when it comes to actually what he's going to do should he get elected. It's enough to tell me you're going to build a wall. It's enough to tell me you're going to bring back the jobs. It's enough to tell me that you're going to win again and all this other stuff. But when I'm still asking how you're going to do it, and I'm not getting any answers that sound reasonable to me, or even answers at all, then it leaves. I'm not a blind person. I'm not a sheeple. I just don't follow the crowd because that's the way it's going. And having said that, my issue with Trump has been all along is that he sounds very much like a social liberal to me. And he doesn't really seem concerned about the social issues which are destroying the moral fabric of our country. And without that moral fabric, the prosperity means nothing. Because as I understand God to say, when you take God off his throne and you put him anywhere else, as his words, if you ever read the book of Haggai, is that he says, I put your wages in holes with a pocket. In a pocket with holes. I put your wages in a pocket with holes. And that means whatever you're doing is going to end up being of no consequence at all. So I believe and even on fiscal issues, I believe he's more of a moderate than he is a conservative. I mean, he talks about wanting to tear up the Iran deal and making a better deal. What kind of deal do you make with people that want to cut your head off?
Yeah, it's the same thing with the repeal and replace. Why are you going to replace it? Just repeal it.
Right.
Obamacare. Yeah, it's the same deal. Hey, you know what? The deals, as we've said before, I don't know how many times till we're blue in the face here. The deals making is what got us into where we're at right now. Enough with this deal BS.
Yeah. So in line with that thinking, my big concern is, should he get in, who's he going to put on the Supreme Court bench? You know, there's a 50-50 chance that he'd want somebody like this Merrick Garland or somebody else. You know, somebody else that's a moderate or somebody else that we don't know too much about that gets on the bench and just kind of magically transforms or morphs into a John Roberts type. You know, I'm a conservative unless I really have to make a decision. I never let my conservatism get in the way of me doing my job, you know, that kind of thing. And his opinions are pretty lackadaisical when it comes to social issues, which guide a lot of what conservatism is all about. The fabric of civil society, the maintenance and preservation of civil society through moral law based on biblical values. That's really where we're at here. So to me, there's just too many questions with no clear answers, and so we're left once again trusting blind faith. And we've done this so many times, and we've been burned every time we do it. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm cynical because of that, because I'm like, where is this guy really going to take us, if he even has the ability to take us? Because I don't expect Congress to cooperate with him. So, what's your take on this, Joe?
Well, and that's the reason why what's going to win the election for him is going to be the VP choice. He's going to need somebody that's going to be able to work behind the scenes and be his muscle or whatever, since he wants to operate like the mob, you know, to be his muscle to get things done. And he's going to have somebody to kind of persuade Congress to do what he needs to get done.
Yeah. So who do you pick for somebody like that?
That's the big question now. Is who is that person?
Yeah. I mean, my speculation leads me to Chris Christie, because he's been following Obama around like a seeing eye dog. You know, and everywhere Trump is, you see Christie in the background. You know, so that has just kind of, to me, it's kind of tipped his hand. And I'm not so sure that Christie would be a great vice president. You know, and it even scares me even more if if something happened to Trump and Christie ends up as a president. I mean, I don't.
Thanks.
I don't have a whole lot of faith and trust in this guy. You know, Christie is a hot, he's a hothead, and he's much like Trump. In fact, if there's two personalities that were in this whole cycle that are very much alike, it's both of them, Christie and Trump. They're hotheads. They don't like being challenged. They don't mind shooting their mouth off when they get pissed to the nth degree, and they don't mind insulting people. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I mean, I do it all the time, but I'm not running for president. So, you know, it's a little different thing here. And so let's speculate on that just for a moment, Joe. What would somebody like Chris Christie bring to the office of vice president?
Well, I mean, he's got that executive experience, so he can, blah, blah, blah. I don't think Christie would be the guy, though, because you need somebody that actually knows how D.C., the players in D.C. Christie don't know the players in D.C. He's been in Jersey,
Yeah. Well, I'm saying Christie did work for the Justice Department for a while, so he does at least know some of the inner workings. And I think Chris Christie would be a more than qualified or competent attorney general. Let's
say this for one thing: whoever it is on the Republican side is going to be hundreds of times better than the Democrats.
Yeah. So if what we're looking at here, then, is we would need somebody who is very well established within the establishment circles. If that's what Trump is telling us, I need somebody that's on the inside. That's establishment talk. Okay, yeah. I need somebody from the establishment that's going to come on board, join up with me, and be able to push the buttons and pull the levers and get everything to get the legislation that I want through. Because, I mean, Trump is by no definition of the word by any extent stupid, and he's got to know that if he gets elected, Mitch McConnell and John Boehner and Paul Ryan aren't going to be standing there at the door waiting to shake his hand. They're going to be in their own little chambers going, okay, how do we stop this guy? What can we do? What can we do to advance our interest? And the hell with Chris Christie or Donald Trump or the country or anybody else. This is they're in preservation mode. And so which guy do you pick out of that group?
Yeah, and I even heard someone speculate today that Boehner would be a good VP pick. I'm like, I really almost threw up violently.
Oh, that would just be horrendous. Here's another kind of far out guess out there. Newt Gingrich. What do you think of that?
Well, it does make sense in one thing. He knows the players. He knows how to get stuff done there.
And he has been a supporter of Trump.
So it's not as far-fetched as it sounds. I mean, I'm sure we could come up. I mean, the Boehner thing is just absolutely outrageous. That's far-fetched.
Yeah, well, I think those are the things that are floated out there by people that just want to get everybody enraged. John Boehner. Yeah, I'm sure.
Come on, John Boehner. The sulfur queen.
Yeah, yeah, really. But Gingrich would be a good pick because there's probably actually I believe probably nobody living better understands how the workings of Congress than Gingrich does. For all intents and purposes, I don't think that anybody that has been here's a guy that you got to admit this stuff. We got to be truthful about this. There's parts of Gingrich that I like. He got along with Bill Clinton. They got some things done with Bill Clinton, who is, just one level away from what Barack Obama is. And if the roles had been reversed and Obama had been elected back in '90 and Clinton was running today, they'd be doing exactly the same things they were doing back in '90 and what they're doing today. It's just that Clinton came along first. But Gingrich knows how to play that. He knows how to play the center. He knows how to be pragmatic. And but what I'm hearing in the rumors is that Gingrich wants to be Secretary of State. That's what I'm hearing out there. So I don't know how this is all going to play out. But Gingrich would be a choice, I think, that a lot of people would be willing to live with, and understands how to get things through the House and through the Senate. I mean. Probably, I think, in my lifetime, perhaps one of the best House speakers we've ever had. I don't know. Do you have that? Do you have that kind of respect for Gingrich?
Well, he does have his baggage that was brought up in the last presidential run that he did, but does that really matter at this time? I mean.
Well, having mistresses and stuff like that, this is common.
Yeah, look at the presidential choice here. Look
at what we're looking at here. Yeah, we're looking at the lady running, whose husband, pretty much did it all.
Yeah, exactly. So, in the Oval Office, no less.
Yeah, and then you've got the other side of this thing with. Trump, he's very, for all intents and purposes, married a porn queen. So, Whether you like that or not, that's not the point. But
he has to live with her,
Yeah. So anyway, hey, we got to go to a break here. And when we come back, we'll continue our discussion here. Right now, we're at the bottom of the hour. Boy, it's already a half hour's already flown by. Okay, stay with us, guys. We'll be right back right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
State Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got. Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest. Who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923 and like them on Facebook and you'll be included in contests and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Do you use the blue pill to charge your sex life? Have you been thinking about trying the blue pill? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pill delivers the exact same results for less than $3. We'll do the math for you. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. Want more? We'll give you 40 blue pills or 40 yellow pills for $99 and add 4 more pills free. You save more than $500. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for the other blue pills. Call us and start saving a ton of money for the exact same results. Ordering is fast and easy with your pills delivered to your door in a non-marked package. 800-814-5188. 800-814-5188. 800-814-5188. That's 800-814-5188.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally cut up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get the Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, and bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474.
We are back. You are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, my co-host and partner in crime. And we're talking about this who the VP is going to be for Trump. I think Joe's made a very valid point that could be the deciding factor as to how Trump ends up in the general election. We've talked off and on about Hillary's choice for VP also, but there's still no real clear indication where they're even leaning in that way. You would think, though, really think that the Democrats would be thinking whoever their VP is, it's got to be somebody who's got to be able to step into the presidency right away, because Hillary might spend her first 100 days going back and forth to a hearing, and after that, who knows? She might end up in that permanent orange jumpsuit, and then who would jump in? That's kind of like why I look at somebody like Julian Castro. Julian Castro is made in the mold of Barack Obama. I mean, everything about this guy reeks of Barack Obama. And what better thing to have a guy come onto the ticket here and, let's just kind of play the Manchurian candidate theory here for a second. Let's say what happens if the Democrat Party and the Obama administration knows that Hillary's going to go down. And so what they do is they allow her to win. They put her up there, she wins, and they have fulfilled their obligation. Because she basically said, I'm next in line after Obama. I'll give the half-white kid the White House in 2008, but I want to be the next one. Okay, we'll give it to you. And by the way, you're on your way to jail right after that. That kind of thing. And then you end up with somebody like a Julian Castro in there, unknown for the most part by many, but it was mentored by the same exact group of people that mentored Barack Obama. His mother, the founder of La Raza, and he attended the Midwest Academy, not at the same time Obama did, but he did attend it.
Of course not.
Okay, and so that who knows? That might be the end game. That might be the end game by the Obama administration. Yeah, let's let Hillary get elected. We fulfilled our obligation, and then we just find a way to getting her out of there, and we move our guy in. It could happen. You never know. Especially the advantage that Julian Castro would give the Democrats as far as the immigration issues and stuff like that. The son of the founder of La Raza, I mean, you don't get any better than that, that kind of thing. So, but back to the Republican Party. When you think about establishment types, I don't think Trump would want to pick anybody that is actively in the establishment, and what I mean by that in terms of being in Congress right now, because they're all pretty much a liability right now in terms, some of these people are fighting for their very lives right now. So, I think we have to look into the establishment, but we have to also look outside the current members of it or the current players. I'm not going to say, I got to keep correcting myself here. Politicians are not the establishment; they are just the pawns. They are the hitmen, the muscle kind of thing. And Joe, you said something earlier a couple times. You've mentioned a couple times over the last couple of weeks the idea that maybe we need to look at this through the eyes of a godfather running a syndicate, and wonder,
that's how Trump does business.
Yeah. I mean,
I keep going back to the Rodney Dangerfield movie, Back to School. When he's talking about how to build a company, and he gets the economics professor, and he said, hey, so you got this all wrong. You need to have money for the Teamsters and the AFL-CIO guys and the guys that pick up the trash and all that. You have no idea how many bulbs you have degrees, and that's what Trump is used to.
Yeah, you're the great deal maker. See, that's the thing that sticks in my craw. This idea, I am going to make so many great deals. I'm going to make so many great deals. And can't tell us what kind of deals he's going to make. Can't tell us who's
great though. They're going to be huge.
Yeah, they're going to be huge, and they're going to be so huge. You're going to get sick and tired of winning and all this other stuff. I mean, yeah, maybe that's what we're dealing with here. Maybe the Don has finally found his way into the White House. I don't know, but
well, who's that one guy that does that mega church thing?
What's that?
Who's that? Who's one of them guys that does that mega church thing? I mean, because that's what it sounds like. Everything's going to be great. All you have to do is just be nice or something.
You're talking about the Osteen crowd, right?
Yeah, them folks. Yeah.
Everything. The guy that stood up there in front of his congregation and told everybody that Obama was a swell guy. I mean, come on, man. Oh yeah, dance with the devil, and then tell your sheep. The devil's a cool guy. He's not bad. He's not a bad guy. He's not as bad as everybody thinks he is. That kind of thing.
Anyhow.
So I'm looking. I thought I had an article here on some of the names that are being floated out here that would give us some ammunition here that we can look at.
Well, you already mentioned one, which was Christie. How about another governor? Rick Scott of Florida.
Oh yeah, that's in your neck of the woods. In fact, that was a name that's been on the tip of my tongue for the last couple of days, because as soon as I saw his name, I said, "Oh man, that's Joe's guy."
Yeah, and he's going to have to leave soon, and then the congresswoman in my district has decided not to run for Congress because they've gerrymandered the district into being more Republican, and she can't handle the heat. So she says, I'm not even going to run for Congress this time. So she's going to be a one-term congresswoman. But her daddy was a senator and a former governor. So, she can just slide right on in there,
Mm-hmm.
Just name recognition.
Right. Yeah, well,
Rick Scott, hey, obviously Florida is one of these swing states because we're so brilliant down here. We can't figure crap out, but who are we going to be for? So we're a swing state.
Well, we talked about this at the beginning. Before we came on the show, Joe and I have sometimes like little pre-conferences about what we want to talk about. And we talked about the idea that in an election like this, okay, let's just say that the pundits out there or the media is right. Their speculation is what's going on here. Trump can't beat Hillary in a general election. I don't believe that. I think it's just as possible Trump can win as Hillary can.
I think it's more possible that he wins, and I got a feeling that, hey, the Democratic Party is just as fractured as the Republican Party, okay?
Right. They got their own issues going on. So to me, it's a crapshoot right now. At this point in the game, it's a crapshoot.
Yep.
So we sit there and we say, okay. So Donald Trump, they start getting into this the general election mode here, and I'm beginning to wonder, the states kind of come into play here, because let's assume that what the polls are saying is right, that Hillary Clinton, or Trump is unpopular with women, he's unpopular with blacks, he's unpopular with Mexicans, he's unpopular with the college crowd, okay? I don't know that would make a big difference, because he's got more voters voting for him than anybody else has had. Apparently, most of his voters are white males, so, there's your silent majority. They're getting up and voting or whatever. But my point is that when we start looking at this whole thing, then it's like, okay, what state would play into this in terms of the Electoral College?
Yes.
Okay, so now that leads me to look at either California or New York. To turn either one of those states would be a major, major accomplishment. So I would have a tendency to go with New York because that's his home turf. So what if he pulls somebody out of New York? Who would he pull?
Out of New York?
Yeah. Mike Bloomberg?
No, that's not going to work.
Well, I mean, anything is possible here.
Well, why don't you just get Hillary to be his VP?
Yeah, well, I mean, if Trump continues to play this, I'm outside the box, I'm outside the establishment kind of guy, I'm going to do what I need to do to win, Bloomberg would be disqualified simply because of the fact, like you said earlier, he doesn't know the inner workings of Congress. He does, he's a governor, right? And so that's not.
He was the mayor of New York City.
Okay, he was the mayor. He was the mayor. Okay, But what?
A huge city, but still, the guy, was trying to legislate people so they couldn't drink 72-ounce sodas, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I mean, but if we just speculate at this and say, well, what if the plan is to pick somebody like, we talked about the idea of Kasich being a VP because he could pull Ohio in. Okay, in a general election, that might be a necessary thing. We don't know how the Electoral College is breaking down right now, but we do know that California, if the Democrats continue to hold their sway over California and New York, Hillary goes into the general election with a third of what she needs to win. Okay, now it's just a matter of what other states, what other swing states can they bring in their direction. Now we look at things like, would Florida come into play? Because Trump took Florida from Rubio, just hands down, just smacked him.
Well, here's an easier way to do it. Florida has the 29 Electoral College votes.
Uh-huh.
The same amount as New York.
Okay, and the last two elections, Florida has played a key part in winning the election. Well, not the last one because Romney got schlonged, but the two elections before that, Florida was the key state.
And it'd be more of a toss-up in Florida. It'd be probably easier for Trump to win. He won every county here when he in the primary. Right. Probably be easier for him to win Florida than New York.
Yeah.
Because Hillary is New York State Senator.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I mean. But I think if anybody has the possibility of turning New York, it would have to be Trump.
Well, yeah, but it's still a heavy lift for even Trump to do it.
Yeah. So then now we go to a state like Florida. We go to some place like Pennsylvania, Ohio, or California. So who could he pull out of California?
Who could pull out of California? Boxer? You're going to get Jerry Brown? You're going to bring Schwarzenegger back?
I don't know. And we're talking about I'll tell you one guy that he could float out there. This guy is probably on nobody's radar. But if he did pull this guy in, he might pull California, would be Tom McClintock. Tom McClintock's very established in Congress. He's very well respected in conservative circles. He's very popular out here in California. He's the only conservative that continually gets reelected to office. There's a guy, and he knows the game. He knows the game, and he knows how to play the game, and he does it without losing much ground in terms of his conservative ideology. That would be a good float, but I don't know if Trump's smart enough to think of somebody like that. But
I don't, because I haven't heard anything like that at all.
No, I haven't either. As I said, I'm looking at long shots here, just like Julian Castro on the left. I'm looking at some.
That's not really a long shot, though. I don't think.
No, it seems practical to me. If you're going to try to turn a state like California and make this thing a contest, we got to go to a break. When we come back, we'll continue this. All we can do at this point is speculate because nobody has a clue as to what Donald wants to do right now. So stay with us right here. All we know that he wants to win, and he wants to win huge. So we'll be right back, guys. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
The more I know...
Okay, hey, we're back. You're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, my co-host and partner in crime, and we're just having just dancing around here, trying to figure out who Donald Trump might be looking at as his VP choice. And as I was just sitting here during the break, just kind of cruising the internet out here, and the guy over here, what's his name? Mark Halperin.
Mark Halperin, yeah.
Okay. His choice is my choice. He's saying Chris Christie. He's saying because Christie's a brawler. And, that's what I see. I see somebody very much with the same type of personality traits as Donald Trump. Now, again, does that fit the template that Trump is trotting out there? An insider that can play the game and knows how to get legislation passed? I don't know. Maybe in Donald Trump's mind, being able to do it at the governorship level is sufficient. And, he thinks he would be able to do it at the federal level. I don't know. I don't think the idea of choosing a governor is bad.
No, I never said that. As I said.
Yeah, but the choice of governor.
Choose the right governor, though.
Yeah, it's a choice of governor that we'd be worried about. You don't want to go picking Governor Moonbeam, for your running mate, that kind of thing. So, another name that's been floated out there, again, these are people that I've looked at, and I was assuming when I was looking at their names that we'd have somebody like Ted Cruz making the choices. But obviously that was a useless lesson. Anyway, what's her name? Lucille Martinez.
From New Mexico?
The governor of New Mexico. Her name's been floated out there as a possible. Here you got a Hispanic, you got a woman. That could play to his advantage. Carly Fiorina obviously is off the list now. So kind of like that would not be a bad choice. You got two covered there. You got the gender card, you got the immigration issue card, what better thing than have a Hispanic vice president helping to build the wall? Dumber things or crazier things have happened. I mean, what do you think about that, Joe?
So Susana Martinez, you could see that. I don't know if she'd be the right one though.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know either. But like I said, at this point, it's really kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah, and that's the angst that everybody, that most of us would have, most conservatives will have, because Donald has not been a substance, and that's the kind of campaign that I think he's going to try to general election campaign. He's going to run as one of not of substance.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know how the Hildebeest is going to get him to make any position points. I don't know how she's going to make him do that, because Donald's. He doesn't do that. He'll just come at her with some
right
off-wall remark about her hair or her pantsuit or something.
Yeah, well, I really don't think. I think what Hillary Clinton is trying to do at this point, she's trying to gear herself. She's trying to get the mindset and she's trying to portray the mindset that she is just going to be like Teflon. Whatever Trump throws at her, she's not going to have time to deal with. I mean, at this point, what difference does it make? You know, it's kind of like I've got the opportunity to be the first woman president. I was listening to her on one of these talk shows the other day. It was just like I only listened to about a 45-second clip. And they were asking her about the Trump thing. You know, Trump's coming after you. I just don't have time to deal with the insults. I got more, we want to get things done and stuff like that. So she's trying to build up this wall of nonchalance. It's not that big of a deal. Kind of going to be apathetic about it. And that means that probably what she'll be doing is her operatives will be the ones out there trying to dig up National Enquirer interviews with, some bimbo that Donald Trump knew in high school or something, that kind of stuff. So I'm not real sure. And I got to hand it to Trump. He's done real well at keeping everybody in the dark. Normally this kind of stuff gets leaked out somewhere down the line here. But I saw one list, and that's what I was looking for at the break. There was one list that had 44 possible candidates.
44?
Yeah, and I was trying to find that list because I thought, okay, well, we can pick 3 off of that list and fill up a whole show, that kind of thing. So anyway,
I got a list of 12. But some of these are just.
You have a list? What's your list, Shay?
Well, some of these are just out there. I mean, Sarah Palin's on this list. I don't think that's going to happen, people.
No, that's not going to happen. That would be suicide. That probably killed John McCain more than anything else.
Well, never mind. I'm not even going there. You always got me to say something. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I mean, and then the last on this list is Buddy Oprah.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like thinking, that's not going to work either.
No, that won't work either. For one thing, I don't think Oprah would want to do it. Her career would go down the toilet real fast. I mean, she'd be listed at the bottom right under Whoopi Goldberg. She's not going to sacrifice her $1 billion corporation to run for vice president with a guy that she's going to everybody. She'd just be an Uncle Tom or an Uncle Thomasina or something like that.
Yeah, you got Tim Scott, the first black senator elected out of South Carolina.
That would not be a bad choice. Tim Scott's well respected in Congress. And he's pretty staunch in his conservative stances. That wouldn't be a bad choice at all. I think if Ben Carson had any ability to articulate anything with any excitement, I think Ben Carson would be a great choice. He's got a lot of integrity. You could trust somebody like that to be straightforward with what's going on. For all intents and purposes, he's got his Bible all screwed up. But other than that, the idea that the pyramids were built to store grain and crap like that, which means absolutely nothing in the big scheme of things. But he just doesn't have, like I said, I've always felt Ben Carson in politics, he's just way in over his head. This guy's like a fish out of water. He's into something that he has just not been wired to do, that kind of thing.
State South Carolina have Nikki Haley.
Oh, yeah, no, there's an establishment type for you.
Yeah,
there's one that can turn. She can turn on a dime and go in a different direction in just a snap of a finger. That wouldn't be a bad choice if that's what he's looking for. She's already very well accepted by the establishment. She's got her ins over there already. And again, you've got somebody with a foreign heritage, and it kills the gender card. See, I almost think that he's got to pick a woman. If he doesn't pick Christie's the guy that I see, okay. But if he doesn't pick Christie, he's almost got to pick a woman, because he's got to kill this sexist thing. That's going to be the big play by the left. It's not so much the immigration thing. Those people will fall in line because they're too dumb to know any better. The people can't, and these people in minorities community, regardless of what community you're in, they buy into this stuff. Whatever they're told, they believe. So. The sexist thing is going to be a much harder barrier to overcome. We got to go to a break. We're at the top of the hour. It's time for the Edwards Notebook. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
The more I know, the more I learn. There's so much more to find out. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, for many years, I have defended the Republican Party. One of my best friends told me that there was no real difference between the GOP and the Democrat Party of the Golden Donkey. Of course, I never forgot the first time years ago when I read a quote by American humorist Will Rogers, who said there wasn't a dime's bit of difference between the Democrat and Republican parties. I must say that at one time there was a big difference, but maybe not so much anymore. We all know that for decades, Democrats supported policies that go against governing from the standpoint of, by, and for the people. Now, the Republican establishment and so-called conservative Ted Cruz have banded together to change election rules in some states to take away the vote from we the people. Why? Because wherever primary elections have occurred, Donald Trump has won. His campaign has exposed many of the political rats like those who support illegal immigration into America. Thus, many globalist Republicans like Bill Kristol would prefer Hillary Clinton, also a globalist, over non-globalist Donald Trump, who says that he simply wants to make America great again. And it seems the two are at least becoming one. What a shame. I'm Ron Edwards.
Catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, all you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. with your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet. Saying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Akos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
Okay, hey, we're back. Hour 2, you're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. We got Audrey Russo will be joining us in just a few minutes, right after the next break here. This is a short segment here, and one of the names I was out there searching out in cyberspace, one of the names that's been floated out there, which I think would be a very logical choice, extremely logical now that I think about it, would be Jeff Sessions. Here's a guy that has been endorsing Trump all along. Well respected on the same keel with as Ted Cruz. He's actually paired up with Cruz several times on legislation and things like that. So that fits the conservative bill. If the guy was to step into the office of the presidency, conservatives would feel very comfortable with him. In fact, I believe he's got probably the highest conservative voting record in Congress right now. So that would be an excellent choice. Of course, I don't know how that would sit with the establishment, the McConnells and the Ryans, but
and it automatically disqualifies them in the Trump camp.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. How about we discuss, since this is a short segment, why don't we have Tony Weiner as Trump's VP candidate?
Oh, probably the only guy that knows how to use Twitter better than Donald Trump.
Yeah, I mean, they could both get along really fantastically, I think. It would be huge.
Yeah, it'd be huge, and he could be floating out there, pictures of him in his underwear when he needed to draw the attention away from Donald Trump. He could be the decoy. But that's going to be a hard one because should his wife Abedin get pulled into this investigation, she's already in it, pulled into it. That could be a double whammy for the Republicans to have to. Well, what are you picking this woman's husband for, that kind of thing. So, but it's entertaining.
It's definitely entertaining.
Well, if we want entertainment, why don't we just pick Kanye West? There you go. Let's pull him as in a VP, or maybe this Larry Wilmore guy, the guy that spoke at the correspondent dinner last week. Yeah, he could stand up and go, hey, Donald, man, you my cracker, man. You my cracker, Who knows?
I think a well-trained dog, or maybe even those giant sea turtle.
Well, the list that I'm seeing, this is the most common list that I'm seeing. I'm seeing Marco Rubio's name, actually. Yes. Actually, I'm seeing John Kasich's name out there. Yeah. Again, because we were talking about Ohio. Being able to pull in a state. Here's a name that I hadn't thought about until I saw it, but I could see it. You were, and it would be in the same line as Nikki Haley, Joni Ernst. Now, Joni Ernst ran on a strict conservative Tea Party ticket. She knows how to cut pork because she used to castrate hogs. Remember that?
Yeah.
And she turned into a rhino like the day after she got elected. So who knows? That might be, she is somebody who has been anti-Trump. So if he could convince her to come over, the idea is that, that would soften some of the sexist charges against Donald Trump, because she went after Donald Trump over his quote unquote sexist remarks. And
we can know who's not going to be picked. That would be Jeb Bush and Lindsey Graham.
Well, and another loose one out there. This is just again, I'm just floating the names that I'm hearing here. Actually, Mitt Romney names have been floated out there also, and that you don't get any more establishing than that.
Well, you hear me jumping for joy, can't you?
Of course, I just can't see that happening, because Mitt Romney has to look at himself in the mirror every day and say, here was a guy. He was the biggest hardliner against Donald Trump during the really rabid no Trump movement that was going on before Jeb Bush caved and died, and that kind of put them all to rest after that. So we're just having fun with it. It's just who could be the guy or who could be the gal. I think he needs to choose a woman, but I think he'll go with Christie. That's my prediction. The Mad Prophet has spoken. I think he'll go with Christie. I think he should pick a woman. Anyway, we got to go to our break here. It's time for Moments of Madness. When we come back, Audrey Russo from Real Talk Radio should be with us. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. Hey, on Moments of Madness. Donald Trump's current claims after his loss in the Colorado caucus that the establishment has rigged the primary against him is nothing more than political theater to keep his sheep enraged, the media entranced, and his opposition neutralized. Trump and his campaign people knew the rules, or should have known them. These rules Colorado has employed to pick their nominee have been around since 1912. So the idea they were designed to keep him from obtaining the required 1,237 delegates is as absurd as his candidacy itself. The fact there are those in Colorado now claiming disenfranchisement only exemplifies the Gruber theorem. The stupidity of the American voter is in full effect. That said, what does bear noting, what continually upsets the GOP political establishment is not Trump's audacious personality, his confrontational demeanor, or his lack of political understanding of policy outside the concept of deal-making. They have shown a propensity for working around ineptness for at least 5 decades now. What upsets the establishment is the fact Trump is an establishment type who has decided to double-cross his, up to this point, pretty much out-of-sight co-conspirators. The fervor that now runs as rampant through the GOP establishment as a streaker at the Super Bowl reminds me of the second adaptation of the movie The Manchurian Candidate, released in 2004, starring Liev Schreiber as former Sergeant and now Congressman Raymond Shaw, Denzel Washington as Major Bennett Marco, Shaw's former commanding officer, and Meryl Streep as Congressman Shaw's mother, Senator Eleanor Iselin. The 2004 film updated the conflict and brainwashing to the Persian Gulf War in 1991, emphasized the science fiction aspects of the story by setting the action in a dystopian near future, coincidentally implied to be 2008, had a U.S. corporation called Manchurian Global as a perpetrator of the brainwashing and conspiracy instead of foreign communist groups, and dropped the Johnny Insulin character in favor of making both Shaw and his mother elected politicians. What I am reminded of when analyzing the current establishment reaction to Trump, and even Cruz to some degree, is an almost eerie portrayal of Shaw's mother, Eleanor, as an establishment type, willing to sacrifice her own son as a means to an end in the plot to have her own son become president by placing him on a ticket as VP, only to have the newly elected president assassinated on the night he wins the election, thus placing him in the White House, complete with a brain implant that causes him to do whatever his programmers want. I'm not saying Trump is a Manchurian candidate by any stretch. If he is, somebody certainly crossed their wires. I do, however, contend Trump is actually an establishment type that has decided to double-cross those with whom he once conspired, in this case the GOP establishment. In much the same manner, Congressman Shaw programmed his own assassination in lieu of the president-elect to put to an end the conspiracy to take over the government via a coup when he discovers he's being played as a pawn. It remains to be seen if Trump actually makes it all the way to the White House. I can't help but wonder if he does, who among the elites will be the one called to duty to take him out? Who knows? But then again, with all this going on, both sides of this contest, we might discover Uncle Bernie is really the Manchurian candidate. This is John Matthews for Moments of Madness. You're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated, heard on over 8 affiliates around the world and across this great land of ours. Last count, 152 countries we were able to reach last month, And during the year of 2015, what was it? Close to 2 million listeners. So we're proud to be part of the affiliates that were out there. Again, our second day live here on Red State Radio. So we give another shout out to our newest live affiliate. And we have with us right now Audrey Russo with her weekly contribution with us. How are you doing tonight, Audrey?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're just having a blast here. We're trying to figure out who's going to be the magic nominee for VP on the Trump ticket, and we floated some of the more familiar names, and even reached out to a couple of long shots out there. After, I want to get your first impression after last night. I was shocked that Cruz dropped out as quick as he did, and that even Kasich suspended. I thought Kasich would just ride this thing out all the way to the end. What was your impression of last night?
Yeah, I was actually surprised. I thought both would hang on there till the end, but I think in the case of Cruz, I think it was really going to do some serious damage to him politically for the future. So they said drop it now. Kasich who? John who? I mean, this guy, he's, he was ridiculous. He was absurd. And I guess when Reince Priebus said it's time to unite around Trump, he figured, they're not going to crown me queen for a day. So he just dropped out. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's quite fitting, the fact that we got the presumptive nominee coming from New York, a queen for a day. I like that.
I always thought those things are funny. Anyway, you're talking about VPs. I mean, what were you tossing around?
Well, we started out with the obvious choices. I happen to think it'll be Chris Christie, but I also believe that if Trump is smart, he'll pick a woman.
Yeah. No, I don't think he'll pick a woman. And no, not Chris Christie. He's probably in between eating donuts. He probably is drooling at the thought. He already told us that he was going to pick a policy person. So it's not Chris Christie, and I doubt very much it's going to be a woman. I'm saying this is my suggestion: Alan West.
Oh, well, that would not be a bad choice. That would not be a bad choice.
A brilliant choice. A brilliant choice.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, Joe? Because he comes from your neck of the woods.
Okay.
You don't like him?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Alan's okay, but Alan's he plays the game as well.
Yeah.
So, and if that's what Donald's looking for, then he could do worse. Like we floated out there. I said, why don't we just get Anthony Weiner?
Well, see, Audrey, we when Alan West was going through his big deal with the redistricting down in Florida, and Wasserman Schultz was instrumental in taking that district away from him. Sure. And during that election cycle, some things came out about Alan West that a lot of people don't know about. He has a tendency to go along with the pork barrel schemes. He pulled in some major money into Florida for airports and stuff like that. And when he was confronted with it, and at the time he was campaigning against pork, and yet he was bringing stuff in, and so that kind of gave us a little bit of a bitter taste in our mouth. The other side of the coin is Alan West. I don't think would be that. Is not and would not be as in he would be like Ted Cruz to the establishment. I don't know that
I know that. Yeah.
So I don't know that he'd be able to rally the troops around him. My thought is that Trump's biggest hurdle is going to be the woman's vote, and it would be very wise to pick. We were talking about, wasn't it Susana Martinez, the governor down in New Mexico, somebody like that, Nikki Haley, maybe Joni Ernst. People that, I mean, they're not our choices. We're trying to look at this through the eyes of Donald Trump. Well,
I'm with Audrey on this. It doesn't necessarily have to be a woman, and in fact, I'd rather not be a woman.
I'd rather not be a woman too.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I'm a woman saying that, and there's a lot of women that like Trump. That's the media's spin now, and it has been, the establishment that he has low ratings with women. I know a lot of women that like Trump, so I
know. My wife was bouncing off the ceiling last night when I told her I went in and said, "Hey, Trump took the Indian," and she's like, "Yeah." I mean, I thought that's the fastest she's come out of the bed in a long time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I rather it wouldn't be. And you know, and I really don't care what anybody thinks about it. I really don't care what other women think about that, because I want the best person for the job. And I haven't seen a woman yet that I think can handle it.
Yeah. Well,
Thatcher's dead, and she wasn't American, so.
let me. Since you are a woman, Audrey, let me ask you this, because I have floated this on this show a couple of times, and I'm very cautious on how I word this stuff. But I'm coming to believe that perhaps, in terms of elected offices at high levels, I'm not so keen on the idea of pulling women into those particular positions.
I agree with you.
I'm sorry?
I am against. Oh my gosh! Watch the women go crazy now. The worst bosses I have ever had in my life have been women. Because they don't know. You know, we are suited for a lot of things. I mean, God created us with incredible skills. There are places we excel that men don't. That's because we think differently. Our brains operate differently. There's physiological differences. There's real differences, and I appreciate the differences. But I have never.
I appreciate them too.
Yeah, I've never had a good female, boss ever, and I've had a lot of them. I used to work in the cosmetic industry. I mean, they fly the same vehicle as Hillary.
Right.
Okay. Horrible, hideous men were the only ones that knew how to handle the position. Women seem to be the ones that push to be at the top, try to feel as if they need to prove something, and in doing so, screw things up. Mm-hmm. And they're some of the most uncompassionate individuals I've ever met when they were in power.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because now every time I say it, in the back of my mind, I got that little liberal devil that stands on my shoulder, you male chauvinist pig, and I'm like, no. I mean, you look at how one of the things I've done in the 20 years that I've been involved in ministry, and I've done a lot of counseling, and you talk with married couples, you talk with singles, and this, that, and the other, and you're talking to them. One of the things that I understand is, one, to me, it violates the established order that God established. The man is supposed to be the decision maker. That doesn't mean everybody is subservient to him, but it means that he takes the responsibility for the decisions that are made, and he makes it based on talking to his partner or whatever. But when it gets to when you give, I kind of look at this biblically, and I know it sounds strange to a lot of people, but I go back to the Garden of Eden where God told the woman, he said, one of the consequences of her violating his law is that you will desire to be over your man, but okay, it will not happen. Okay, your desire will to be over him, but it will not happen. And that, I've always looked at that and said, that's kind of like, he's kind of laying out an established condition, terms and conditions here. That the man is supposed to be the one that is supposed to take everything in and be able to come up with a reasonable, logical thing. Where women, I believe, their strength is in nurturing. They're more like nurturers, but then that puts them into an emotional state sometimes where all logic kind of just goes out the window. And
I mean, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead. That's why you're on.
Well, to interrupt you. Anyway, so, well, isn't that what women do best, right? We do. I don't care. You know what? That is. I heard a great. As a matter of fact, I heard a woman teaching a Bible study once on that. Mm-hmm. That she gave a great message on it. The fact that that's why women are always struggling to take control, and we do everything from the remote to what's going on in whatever room in the home. We have this tendency to want to take control, and that's exactly what was said in the garden.
Right.
That's, you want to rule, but he's going to rule over you, and no woman wants to hear that. And of course, they think of it in very immature terms. That's not what is meant, of course. This is not a master and a slave. That's not, these are different positions, different responsibilities. And honestly, I'm glad that my husband has all the responsibility.
Yeah. I mean, we joke about things like, Margaret Sanger being the, who she is and everything, and an idol of Hillary Clinton. But feminism started in the Garden of Eden,
It did. Yeah. Well, today's feminism did. Sure. Yeah, sure.
Well, feminism as we know it today. I mean, and I agree. I think it's just a role assignment.
That's it.
Yeah. And on the other side of it, Adam totally blew it. He stood there and watched everything going down and didn't do anything. So he's got his come up and says, we got to listen to the wife, the girlfriend, or the women try to tell us, you got it wrong. This is how you have to do it. Well, that's our consequence. Adam didn't speak up when he should have in the beginning, so
Well, actually, it actually was, of course, as we know, it was he was given the command, not her,
right.
But she had a power over him that God had given to her.
Yeah,
and
she realized that.
Perverse. Yeah,
that's awesome that the women realize they have a power over men.
But it's true, and she, of course, she was punished for it. But it was him. It was the fall was because of him.
Right. Absolutely. I agree. It was the man. The man is the one that failed. He failed by not doing what he was supposed to do. Yeah,
we continue to pay.
he failed by not following the directions. All right.
Oh no, not that.
Okay. I agree. I agree that, but I'm just looking at this again through the eyes of a Trump campaign manager, thinking, okay, as you said, a lot of women like Trump, but when this hits the general cycle, which it has, as of yesterday, as Joe said, we're in the general election cycle now, and one of the things that's going to have to be neutralized is this gender card by Hillary Clinton. So to choose a woman as a running mate would greatly neutralize that to a great degree. That's why I'm saying, from a campaign perspective, I think it would be not stupid. But it would
the woman card, man. I have a new word. It's hagdacity of Hillary. The audacity of this hag. I cannot believe it's incredible. It's outrageous. It's egregious. It's hagdacity. She would come out with this, and she's raising money. She's raising funds with this. And I think of people like my friend Kathleen Willey. I mean, Hillary is the war on women. She is.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, I know that I went out this week. One of my big accomplishments this week is I went out and got my woman card. Okay, because
I saw your card, John.
Yeah, I did. If you go to my Facebook page, I posted it there. I went to the Hillary Clinton womancard.org site and got my woman card, because you never know when I'm going to have to use a bathroom in the wrong side of town.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh.
But along that line, maybe what Trump should be doing is maybe he should be recruiting Bruce/Caitlyn Jenner. He would cover it all if he did that.
Yeah, right. He'd have it all, because of course, he never changed his junk. Because I think that eventually, when this is passed, after those that have used him the way they wanted to, he's get the implants and such extracted, and he'll stop receiving hormone shots. And
I hope that they don't use any kind of anesthesia when they do it.
Oh, that's mean.
Oh my goodness! Oh, I'm trembling here as just thinking about that.
Does the voice from Brazil come to mind? Yeah,
and it's not a Chris Matthews thrill up my leg kind of feeling either. So.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, there we are
on your Wheaties box. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. We're dancing into the red zone here, guys. Okay, so did you tell us who you thought Trump's going to end up picking? Did you agree it was Christie, or did you have somebody else in mind?
No, I'm still looking. I mean, there's always a possibility of Jeff Sessions. He's also a policy individual. I don't know. I know it's not going to be a bigger personality than his. That's for sure. And I don't believe it's going to be a woman, because there's not too many out there that even women are going to want that are for Trump.
Yeah, well, my big thing is that we floated sessions earlier, and I thought, that's kind of and I even went even farther out there. I was thinking of Tom McClintock out here in California. Very well respected conservative in Congress, and and the only conservative I know out here in California that manages to get reelected every cycle, and he's a conservative. I mean, this guy doesn't bend; he doesn't sell out. So, I think that would be somebody that knows the workings of Congress and stuff like that. Sessions, I think, would be a good choice. I know it remains to be seen. I don't think it'll be anybody as more flamboyant than Chris Christie, because I think that's Trump isn't going to want to share the spotlight that much. Yeah. So, because it is all about Donald. It is all about him. We got to go to a break. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion here with Audrey Russo from Real Talk Radio out there in New York. And that's, in fact, when we come back, I want to talk to you about New York in terms of the Electoral College. I want to get your opinion on something there Joe and I were tossing around earlier. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
State Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest, who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923, and like them on Facebook and you'll be included in contest and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Do you use the blue pill to charge your sex life? Have you been thinking about trying the blue pill? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pill delivers the exact same results for less than $3. We'll do the math for you. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. Want more? We'll give you 40 blue pills or 40 yellow pills for $99 and add 4 more pills free. You save more than $500 $100. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for the other blue pills. Call us and start saving a ton of money for the exact same results. Ordering is fast and easy with your pills delivered to your door in a non-marked package. 800-814-5188. 800-814-5188. 800-814-5188. That's 800-814-5188.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally caught up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world. Then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474.
All right, hey, we're back. You're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, my co-host. And we have with us Audrey Russo from Real Talk Radio. And Audrey, I wanted to ask you, being from New York, and I assume you still live in New York, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, all right.
How's the taxes, Audrey?
Not good.
I caught a comment that you made earlier. I don't want to expound on it right now because the direction we're going with the show, but I do want to someday talk to you about your relationship with Kathleen Wiley. I know who you're talking about there, and I'd really like to expound on that, especially since it looks like one of the Trump aides has actually mentioned the fact that they may be trotting out Monica Lewinsky during this campaign if Hillary tries to play the sexist card with Trump. But that said, in a general election here, Joe and I have been speculating as to whether Trump can turn New York in the Electoral College. And I wanted to get your view on that. Being you live in New York, you're probably closer to ground zero than we are.
Oh, yeah, I think so, right? In more ways than one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he can. I do think he can. He is a lot bigger with, well, first of all, you're going to have slowly but surely, you'll have the GOP establishment as they started to warm up to him before Cruz dropped out, and now, of course, Kasich, not that anybody noticed because he wasn't even on the radar. He will. I believe he will turn New York because he has brought a lot of people to the Republican Party. I mean, thousands upon thousands decided to switch because they don't want Hillary.
Yeah, you see, that's what I'm trying to get a gauge at, because as you mentioned earlier, the media has a nice, a really effective way of just making everything look as though it's not. You know, this ability to present an illusion that, you know, Trump is he's just not going to get to women. He's not going to get to women. It's all going to be white, angry men. But the one thing that we have to recognize, and you know, I've conceded all throughout this cycle so far, is that Trump has brought people into this cycle now that have not been in the cycle before or have sat outside of it for a while. Now, Joe and I have opinions about that in regard to, you know, where were these people 8 years ago when we needed them, and if they end up going back into the shadows, so be it. You know, you're coming to our rescue now when we needed you 8 years ago. But that said, that dynamic that Trump has brought to the electorate in terms of bringing people into the Republican Party, or even just swaying a lot of the independents and everything else that are out there. You know, in the open primaries, the independents are going towards Trump too. So when we look at all these things, I'm just thinking, I don't think it's beyond the realm of impossibility that Trump couldn't turn New York into a red state.
No, it's not beyond possibility that he could do that. I think what happened, when it comes to when we're talking 8 years ago, I think that what happened was that people weren't really feeling it. Okay, now they feel the burn in more ways than one. Because he gave it to us. Now people are hurting. I mean, it's very depressing. I mean, I love, everything needs its limits, but I love capitalism, and it breaks my heart to see businesses go under. And it's pretty disgraceful in the city, and in the suburbs of New York, just business after business going under, and that means people lose jobs, and that affects families. And they're feeling it. And they don't like it. And if we're going to go back to when Obama got elected, we go into the white guilt discussion. But because then people would feel better that I put a black. Well, if you're going to put somebody who you call black, then put Alan West in there, or another individual. Then I'll tell you who put Walter Williams in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're actually feeling it in the wallet. They're feeling it in their homes. It's touching them. The crocodile's starting to nip at their feet. Now they're seeing it and they're saying, I can't sit this one out. I have to do something, because if Hillary gets in there, she will continue what he's doing and worse.
Yeah, absolutely, and worse.
And worse.
And there's the Supreme Court.
Justice. Oh gosh, that thought is horrifying to me.
And there would be a couple generations in.
Yeah. And you just know that Trump is going to pick at least 2, maybe 3, and possibly 4. I mean, some of these people, Ginsburg, she's almost out of Geritol. And this woman is a day older than dirt, for crying out loud. It's like she's going to be going. She's got to be leaving soon. Some of the there's a couple other guys. Kennedy, he's no spring chicken. There's some people on that bench that are going to be gone by the time the next term finishes out. And so that was always my thing about. Now, let me ask you about that. Because one of the things that Joe and I talk about all the time is that we really cannot define Trump's direction. He talks in such ambiguous and generalizations. And when you talk about the idea, he says, I guarantee the Supreme Court justice will be a Republican. Well, that could look like anything. That could be John Roberts.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, it could be a Roberts. We have to look at the people that he surrounds himself with. He's not he's not as successful as he didn't become that successful without being wise enough. So you don't have to have a brilliant man to be president. That's probably not a wise idea. You need a man that's wise enough to recognize the people that can do the job, and he can allocate that. That responsibility to them. The people that have endorsed him: Phyllis Schlafly, Ben Carson, Jeff Sessions. I mean, we can go on and on and on. Of the people that were good and solid conservatives, that gives you an idea. He was a wee bit vague on certain things. I think he was setting himself up for the general election with that rhetoric, but. Remember something here, too. He knows who it is that is voting for him, who will be voting for him, who has been voting for him. And he is, people have said he's a narcissist. No, he is egotistical, but I don't know any leader that has never been egotistical to some degree, but he's not a narcissist. Obama's a narcissist. He has this guy, is self-effacing. Obama isn't. He can't, he's a narcissist. This guy has a certain amount of pride that he's not going to want to look bad. That he went back, that he didn't at least build the wall, that he didn't do some of the things that he was saying. He's going to get it done, at least for pride's sake, because he doesn't need the money. He doesn't need being the head of anything. He has been a tremendous, a business. He's like, does he need to be the head of something? No, he has it. Money, that's not going to do anything for him. If anything, it'll lower him by being president from what he has had. So this guy, I think he will turn New York red for that reason. Of course, the city, they're going to always go for Hillary.
Yeah, well, I happen to think at this point at the game, to me, the general election as of today is 50-50. It could go either way. I don't buy into this idea that Trump's going to get trounced. I don't buy into the idea that Hillary's going to get trounced. I do believe this is going to be probably in our lifetime one of the dirtiest campaigns we ever see. I can't even imagine. I try to imagine how far can this go.
Right. I agree. But he's got so much more ammo on her. She is just a walking. Well, I won't even say. She's miscreant. Okay, I could say some things, but of course I'd keep it clean. I'll just use some I'll get my thesaurus out. She is. She's a miscreant, okay, and she's got so much hidden. He doesn't even have to reach too far into the background. This woman's got a trail of blood behind her. Of course, we all didn't forget Benghazi, but there's much more than that. And not to mention the Clinton Foundation, the billions of dollars. I mean, I have Charles Ortel on the show several times. Billions of dollars are unaccounted for.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, we got to go to a break here real quick. This is our short break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. We've got Audrey Russo from Real Talk Radio with us. Don't go away. You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. Hey, we're back. Hey, we do want to remind you, check out our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, when you get a chance. We put all our show archives up there. We put our bios of our panel members like Joe here and Audrey. And anything you want to know about our show and the people on it, you go to our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. We're coming to the end of the segment with Audrey here, but I wanted to throw one last question at here, Audrey. During this general election cycle, it's going to get dirty. It's going to get beyond dirty. And I'm not sure how it's going to all play out, but I imagine from Trump's side, it'll be pretty much Trump firing the salvos. On the Clinton side, it'll be the operatives. Clinton will try to maintain this above board, I'm taking the high ground kind of thing. And I think at what point in time does Hillary melt down? Because she will.
And throw water on her first. Yeah, the flying monkeys and everything. When they start to flee, then you know that somebody threw water on her. I'll have to wait for him to do that. If Trump is wise, he will. I know I have some very good friends that are comedians and comedy writers. That would be brilliant if he would grab them. Some of them will do it for free to get her. And it shouldn't be difficult. She's given us all the ammo.
Oh yeah.
Really.
No. You would think that somebody on Saturday Night Live would have picked up on this by now.
The thing is that she's going to be a problem for her is the fact that she's got. She needs more than a walk-in closet for all the skeletons she has. And he doesn't. See, he is who he is. It's all out there. But her, we don't even know everything. And he's got people thinking already. You have to know that. This woman is going to wish she never did this.
Well, I know the Huffington Post today was calling for her to withdraw and give the contest to Bernie Sanders because their belief is once the FBI recommends indictment, it's all over.
Oh, yeah. Well, they are going to. James Comey is going to recommend indictment. Whether the Obama administration will, direct I don't think they will. Right. Although he can't stand them. He can't stand the Clintons.
Yeah.
There's no love lost there. They can't stand him. He can't stand them.
Yeah. Well, we're at the end of our time here with you today, Audrey. I wanted to give you a moment to plug your show and everything else that you're involved in. So you've got a couple minutes.
Oh, sure. Thank you. The guest this week on Real Talk, we have, of course, Andrew McCarthy will be back with us. He was the prosecutor in the Blind Shake. That was the first World Trade Center bombing. We have musician Toot Sweet with us, and Miha Danzig, who is he's an attorney, and he also is with Stand With Us. Just want to remind everyone that tomorrow, actually it started already, it's sundown, is Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Yep.
So I hope everyone will, will get the word out to people. They need to remember this because never again.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. And by the way, in your circle of friends out there, we are trying like crazy to land an interview with Jeet Pai from the FCC. If you know anybody that can get us in contact with this guy, I see him out there all over the place, but we're just not been able to connect with him. And if you happen to run across somebody that knows how to get his cell phone number or something, I really would appreciate it. I want to get this guy on the show really bad.
Okay, I will if I do. Yes, I will.
All right, Audrey, thanks so much, and I hope you have a good week. Have a good show tomorrow. I'm sure I'll be listening to it after we put it up here on Roar Radio, one of our other affiliates here. So thanks so much.
Thank you. God bless you both. Have a great weekend.
Okay, you too. All right, that was Audrey Russo from Real Talk. And now we're coming up here towards the end of the show. And if I can, I want to take a moment here. I want to take a moment, and I want everybody to put on their objective thinking caps here. All right? Let's all take off our tinfoil hats and our conspiracies and everything else, and just listen to me just for a second here. The idea that the establishment is what the establishment is, and we who know, we know that everything is skewed, everything is rigged, everything is whatever the establishment wants it to be. We understand that there's such a thing as a new world order. We understand that there's all types of conspiracies out there. There's things going on that we know about, some of the things we don't know about. But I want you to understand on this show that what we address here, we try to come from the perspective of the fact that we are Americans. We were formed and established on a revolution that went against tyranny, and we are facing tyranny. We are facing it once again, and we're facing it. Never have we faced it before since the founding of our country. And the result of tyranny in a government like ours is eventually it will kill itself. If you listen to liberals, and no matter, you listen to establishment types, you listen to anybody that's against what this republic stands for and what we, the American people, believe in, sooner or later, they kill themselves. Our job is to keep the conversation active, to be proactive in our approach to things, to be as informative and educational as we can, so that when we, the people, as a smart and educated collective, recognize what's going on and we have the opportunity to move, we can move, and we'll be able to move much quicker if we're all on the same page. So while I appreciate the comments in the chat room out there about this being about sheeple and the elections are rigged and everything else, don't think we're not caught unaware about this. But understand that just our only other option is to stand idle and watch it happen. And I, for one, am not going to do that. I would not be able to do that in good conscience for my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. So I appreciate people's opinions out there, but I would heartfully disagree to think that everything is just as it is and will never change. I don't believe that. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. You got any closing comments, Joe?
No, John, I think it's just a moral imperative that everybody start to pay attention. If that's one thing that's happened, maybe this election cycle is more people might be paying attention and get involved. I mean, if people would have gotten involved before, you wouldn't have had the people freaking out in Colorado because it was stolen from because they didn't pay attention. They didn't get involved in the process. You don't like what's going on, get involved in the process.
Right.
Get off your dead butt and get out there and get involved. You change it locally. You change it in your school boards. You don't like the school board. If you don't like your schools having multifunctional restrooms, then you go to the school board and have them change it. And if they don't change it, then you get the people out and make the changes.
Right. Right.
It's time to get up and wake up about it. Yes. Liberty once lost. It's one thing. It's hard to get back.
Yep.
And usually, the only way to get it back is at the point of a sword or the end of a gun. If we want to go Anita Dunn kind of style or what, So it's just get involved.
Right. Let's not forget. Let's just a real quick history lesson here. We got a couple minutes left here. Real quick history lesson here. Let's not forget that from the time the Pilgrims first landed on the shores of America to the shots of Lexington and Concord was over 100 years. Over 100 years. It was 100 years. The first, they had to escape the tyranny of England. They come over here. They establish their colonies. They do their thing. The American Revolution took 12 years in the making. If we put that in contemporary time, 3 election cycles. It took 3 election cycles. They didn't have election cycles there, but you get the drift of what I'm saying here. 12 years from the beginning of an oppressive government that was determined to confiscate personal property and tax and be able to tell people not to take away their voice with no representation. It took 12 years from the beginning of that to the first shots that were fired in the American Revolution. Actually weren't the first shots, but the ones that mattered, the ones that kicked this thing into high gear. And all these other events that took place before that, the Boston Massacre, things like this that happened, and the sheltering of soldiers in private homes, all these things, the stamp tax, all this stuff that took place over a period of 12 years. Now we're sitting here as a country, we've become too comfortable in our lifestyle. We've come to expect things to happen automatically without our oversight. We are the problem, not the government. We have allowed the government to become what it is. And so this whole idea of thinking, okay, well, now it's all over. I say that, but I'm saying it figuratively in the sense that the republic that we once had is endangered, in a very dangerous position right now of being lost. As Benjamin Franklin said, we have a republic as long as we can keep it. And so, as Joe said, if there is anything that is positive that has come out of this establishment crap and the Trump campaign and everything else, it has got people's attention. And we can give Bernie Sanders some of the credit for that. He's out there talking about the wrong thing, the wrong way, but he has garnered his own following. Even on the left, people are disenfranchised with what's going on. They're upset. They're just as upset with Hillary as they are with anybody else on the right. And we have to recognize that for what it is. The media is trying to control everything and minimize the damage, but it is there, and we recognize it, and we know that the people out there recognize it. So let's kind of try to hold on to this aspect that maybe, just maybe, something good will come out of this. Just maybe Trump will do something to get this thing going in the right direction. If nothing else, stopping Hillary, stopping the Obama legacy, all this other stuff. So let's try to remain a little bit optimistic about what's before us. We're Americans. We're not like a third world country where we just bend over and take it. We do fight. And if it ends up at the end of a sword, so be it. That's the way it happened before. It may have to happen again. So having said that, I just want to let you guys know we love you very much. We appreciate your loyalty. We'll be back on the air tomorrow, 3 o'clock out here on the left coast, 6 o'clock on the east coast. God bless you. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all of our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's the conservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best and uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, signing off until next time, right here on the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.